So I keep trying to record this, but my little guy keeps trying to interrupt. So yeah. Hi, I'm Maya. I'm a mom of 2 under 2 and a mental health counselor. And I've been looking around and there's not a lot of mental health tips for moms. And so just wanted to share my top 5 things today. First thing is giving yourself grace, right? So it can be hard not to have everything all together all the time, right? Like you want the house clean, you want your kids to be perfect, you just want everything to be perfect, but that's just not realistic anymore. Like I said, I have 2 under 2, so like I just have to give that up. It's all about making sure you give yourself credit for the things that you do rather than punish yourself for the things that you don't. You know, it's like an election. You know, there's going to be votes on both sides, but just focus on doing the next right thing and knowing that, like, in the grand scheme of things, you love your kids and your mental health is important. So as long as you're doing your best, you know, upholding, making sure they're clothed and fed and safe, like, it's okay to take a breath and say, like, everything doesn't have to be perfect. Next is making sure that you're prioritizing micro self-care. So that can be taking a deep breath, just walking outside, buddy, doing a mini dance party. Just prioritize things that are like 5 minutes or less that you can do throughout your day rather than trying to fit in things that take like an hour. And if you get in the habit of that, then it's easier to kind of sprinkle a little joy on your day. Next is making sure that you're staying connected, right? So that can be really hard. I know I struggle with it a lot, but just text or call your friends when you can. For me, like whenever I'm nursing or whenever I'm like just doing laundry, whatever, I will put my AirPods in and call someone just to make sure that I'm not just in my head all the time. But it's just nice to make sure you remember that you're not alone. The next and probably most powerful one is just make sure that you're saying no when you mean no. And a good rule of thumb for that is if it feels like a maybe, it's a no. Yeah, you say yeah. He agrees. Lastly is just making sure that you're acknowledging your feelings, right? And yes, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling happy, just make sure you don't skirt past those. Make sure that you're taking a second to take a deep breath and realize that you don't have to agree with things or think that what you're thinking or feeling is right to validate that. You just have to remember that they're real, because if you don't acknowledge them, if you don't accept them as real, then they won't go away, right? So I always like to say feelings aren't facts, it's a fact you have the feeling, right? So if you take a second and just take a deep breath and even name the feeling, name it to tame it, then you can move on to the next moment. All right, those are all the tips for today, but gonna try to do Mental Health Mondays and just drop little tips that help me or that I need to remind myself of too. Yeah, but me and my little helper will just keep on talking about what works and what doesn't and provide some mental health tips for moms. Too.